Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm happy you decided to join us today. As you can see by that title down below, you guys, today we'll be reacting to the execution of Saddam Hussein. OMG, this is about to be crazy, y'all. Let's get into the video.
On the 13th of December 2003, former dictator of Iraq Saddam Hussein was found. He had evaded capture since the start of the American invasion of Iraq, but was found following a massive operation. His trial was mired by outbursts, assassinations, and ended with Saddam and many of his former officials sentenced to death. It is perhaps helpful to start with a brief explanation as to the regime of Saddam Hussein. Saddam ruled Iraq from 1979 until 2003, when he was deposed by an American-led invasion. His rule was noted for an almost gangster-like administration and for his failed attempts to annex neighboring countries. The brutal Iran-Iraq War, which lasted from 1980 until 1988, claimed the lives of as many as 1.2 million people and saw some of the most brutal fighting of the 21st century. Saddam oversaw the use of chemical weapons against his own people, notably against the Kurds of northern Iraq in the Anfal genocides, where his regime—
What the heck? That's something I didn't know. I mean, I knew this dude was like, you know, a terrorist, but 1.2 million people? What the F?
Where his regime murdered tens of thousands of people. Saddam annexed neighboring Kuwait, triggering the First Gulf War. An international coalition soundly defeated the Iraqi army. However, Saddam remained in power. The widespread torture of civilians, suspected backing of terrorists responsible for 9/11, and his suspected development and ownership of weapons of mass destruction were the reasons given for the controversial Second Gulf War. In March of 2003, an American and British-led invasion sought to remove Saddam from power. Those within his inner circle, and those who had assisted in the brutal regime, were targets too for removal. As part of the kit provided, American soldiers were given a standard deck of cards, detailing the 52 most wanted members of Saddam's regime. This was to help American soldiers identify key and wanted members of the regime. The most wanted were found on the high-value cards, being the aces and the kings. Saddam himself was found on the Ace of Spades, being the most wanted. When the capital of Baghdad fell to the American control in April, Saddam could not be found. There were unfounded and unverified sightings of the dictator, but nothing led anywhere. There would be sporadic recorded messages from Saddam, distributed to encourage his forces to continue the fight and denounce the invaders. One notable example is following the deaths of his son Uday and Qusay. In a taped speech, he honoured the deaths of his sons, calling them honoured martyrs, and stating that he would be proud to offer 100 more sons to defeat the American forces. Operation Red Dawn was the name given to the hunt for Saddam Hussein. The 9-month hunt saw hundreds of soldiers conduct hundreds of raids. Intelligence officers began targeting lower-ranking functionaries, the likes of cooks, bodyguards, and drivers and their families. These kinds of people were targeted for details as to where Saddam might be hiding. The goal was to narrow down the areas where he could be hiding, with his birthplace of Tikrit being thought as a likely location. It would not be until December of 2003 that a breakthrough was reached. One of Saddam's former drivers divulged the name Mohammed Ibrahim Omar al-Muslit, otherwise known as Saddam's right-hand man. Al-Muslit's family were located and interrogated, allowing intelligence officers to then locate and interrogate the man himself. The American forces were told of a farm in Ad-Dar, only a short drive from Tikrit. On the 13th of December 2003, around 600 members of the Elite Special Operations Task Force Team 121 and the 1st Brigade Combat Team of the US Army's 4th Infantry Division.
Y'all, don't tell me his right-hand man was snitching. Oh my God. That's horrible. That's horrible. I don't mean to make fun of it. Let me be serious.
Around 600 members of the Elite Special Operations Task Force Team 121 and the 1st Brigade Combat Team of the US Army's 4th Infantry Division set out to locate Saddam at the farm. His 2 remaining bodyguards attempted to flee, though they were soon captured. After a long search of the area, Saddam was located in a spider hole. The entrance was camouflaged with a rug, bricks and dirt, and was a space only a few feet long. When the troops opened the trapdoor, they were met with a bedraggled Saddam wishing to surrender. He was found with $750,000 in $100 bills. He was armed with a pistol and an AK-47, yet no shot was fired. There is a photograph of Saddam's capture, which shows an Iraqi-American interpreter named Samir holding Saddam on the ground. This man reportedly punched Saddam in the face and cursed him for the murder of his uncles and cousins and the imprisonment of his father, a punch that I imagine felt rather satisfying. Saddam was arrested and designated as a prisoner of war as the head of the regime's military. He was taken to the Baghdad International Airport.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I do remember when they had caught him. I remember it was breaking news on CNN, and I remember me and my grandparents we were all sitting in the den, and it was just it was crazy. I kind of remember my grandmother and grandfather kind of celebrating they got him, it was crazy.
International Airport, where he underwent a medical examination, which controversially was broadcast as proof of his arrest. It showed a disheveled Saddam with overgrown hair and an unkempt beard. This was met with criticism as it was seen to humiliate the dictator and potentially be a violation of Article 3C of the Geneva Convention, which prohibits outrages on personal dignity. In Article 13, it states that prisoners of war must be protected against insults and public curiosity, which the broadcasting of the inspection could have breached. Saddam was put on trial in the Iraqi Special Tribunal, a court to pass judgment on the regime's key members for crimes committed against the Iraqi people. From the start of the trial, Saddam denounced its legitimacy. He called American President George W. Bush a criminal, stating that the trial was only a way for Bush to succeed in his re-election. During the trial, Saddam's lawyers were routinely assassinated, with many working from outside of Iraq for fear of their own safety. The actual safety of the trial brought into question whether it could ever be considered a fair or effective hearing. In the end, Saddam was sentenced for the murder of 148 Shiite Muslims in the Dujel massacre. This massacre was a retaliation for the attempted assassination against Saddam, and proved to be the crime which he was sentenced to death for. On the 5th of November 2006, he was sentenced to death by hanging. Upon receiving his sentence, Saddam shouted, "Long live the people, long live the Arab nation, down with spies, God is great."
Wait, they hung him? Whoa! Somehow I missed that too. I didn't know they hung him. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it or nothing, but it's just dang, that's real brutal. I would hate to die like that. I ain't gonna lie. They made that man suffer for real.
Saddam attempted to appeal his sentence, but on the 26th of December 2006, his appeal was rejected, with moves to execute the dictator as soon as possible. At American base Camp Justice, Saddam was to be hanged. On the 30th of December 2006, balaclava-clad executioners led Saddam to the noose and placed it over his head. Amid the chanting of slogans, insults, and prayers read from the Quran, the former dictator dropped to his death. His final moments were captured on mobile phone, the opening of the trapdoor, his body swinging and neck twisted. Saddam's body was then flown to his birthplace and buried in the dead of night. The death of Saddam was a footnote in the regime and an attempt to legitimize the new Iraqi government, There were questions as to the fairness of the trial, leading plenty to believe that it was nothing but a show trial. And as for the little pack of cards I mentioned earlier in the video, not all of those in the deck of cards faced justice. The crimes of Saddam and his regime were many, and yet, whether justice was achieved, both for the victims and for Iraq, I will leave to you. But it is believed that Saddam's regime is responsible for the deaths of 250,000 people.
That was crazy. What the heck? I found out so many different things that I just didn't know. Of course, I know who Saddam Hussein is. I know all those things, but it's like, I just didn't realize that it was such a brutal freaking death for him. Oh my gosh, and it's crazy. I want to say I remember all this like it was yesterday, but I guess I didn't pay attention to the details. I remember when he was called. I remember my grandparents being happy and being like, yes, it's over. They got him. And I remember when, he was sentenced to death. I didn't know they hung him. Dang, they wanted to make sure he was out of there. That was crazy. That was crazy. I'm actually happy I watched it because, like I said, I didn't know, he was hung and stuff like that. So I guess that's really good for me to know. And now, if my children ever ask any questions and stuff, I could give them accurate information. So that's a good thing. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure you guys are tapping that love button for me. When you do that, it does let the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying my content and it pushes me up there with the rest of those YouTube sharks. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now so you can continue to learn new things with me as I go on this crazy journey of just trying to uncover a lot of disturbing history facts, I guess we would say. And yeah, and also make sure you do tap that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I do upload video. And I'll catch you on my next one. Bye! Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm happy you decided to join us today. As you can see by that title down below, you guys, today we'll be reacting to the execution of Saddam Hussein. I'm sorry, I'm nervous, y'all. I'm nervous. And I don't know why. I know what I want to say. I know I'm nervous for this video, but I don't know why I'm nervous. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Is my mic on? Okay, cool. Let me make sure. Okay. Don't want to have no sound issues. Okay.
It's Miaaaa, that girl you came to see. So grab your snack and just sit back, leave a comment in the chat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's Miaaaa, that girl you came to see. So grab your snack and just sit back, leave a comment in the chat.